Okay, so I'm going to look at this question that we looked at yesterday again, because I don't think I went into it in enough detail. So I'm going to do it without a GDC first, and then I'm going to do it hopefully with a GDC afterwards. So let's do it without. So we've got to sketch the two functions first, so the straight line, linear graph, and also the quadratic. So let's do that down here below the graph. So my straight line is this. And one way, you may recall, to sketch a straight line is just to pick 2 points and then just join them up. You join up the 2 points and it's a nice quick way of drawing the line. So I'm going to select x is equal to 0. That's a nice easy one to substitute in. If I substitute that in, I'm left with 2y equals 14, and then rearrange, divide by 2, and y is 7, which should make sense. We'll see again later why the y-intercept is going to be 7. And then do the same thing again. You can pick any value you like, which is makes sense, as in within a reasonable range. So I'm going to say that y equals 0. So substitute into the same equation. So 2 times 0 would be 0. So all you're left with, we substitute into here, is x equal 14. X is equal to 14. So your coordinate pair is going to be x is 14, y is 0. And then you can just plot them. So that's 14, 0 there. 0, 7 is, ooh, no, it's about there, isn't it? Let's mark it with a different thing so I don't get confused. And then you just join them up. And as Angela very wisely said yesterday, because it is less than, so there's no equal sign, we do need to use a dotted line. Nothing has changed from your IGCSEs. So let's do that. And isn't that done beautifully? Okay, so there we go. So we've got our first inequality there. There we go. Or first equation draw. Line. Okay, so let's do the next one. Again, without a calculator. So this time we're looking at the quadratic. Let's do it in the right corner there. So y equals, I'll just move that up so you can see it. Oops, a daisy. So y equals x squared minus 3x minus 4. And then we can factorize it. So it should be minus 4 and plus 1. So minus 4 times plus 1 is equal to minus 4, and minus 4 plus 1 gives us minus 3. So those are our magic numbers. If you're trying to work out where the x-intercepts are, then you make that equal to 0. So either x minus 4 must equal to 0, so the x-intercept is 4, or x plus 1 equals 0, so the x-intercept is minus 1. So that should enable us to sketch our quadratic. So we know there are x-intercepts here, there's one at 4, and there's also one here at minus 1. We know it is a happy quadratic because it's plus x squared. So, and we also know that it's going to cross the y-axis where y equals minus 4. So let's put that detail in as well, so that'd be about here. And I'm going to do my best to join this up with a nice smooth sort of curve. Here we go. Oh my goodness. And that is pretty good, I think. Okay, so pretty pleased with that. And this time we would use a filled-in line, so not a dotted line, because we're looking at greater than and equal to. The one amendment I could do to this is also work out the minimum value, so I could complete the square to do that, just to make it absolutely perfect. But we are going to look a little bit later about how to find the minimum value using our GDC instead. Okay, anyway, we've got the sketch, so this is good, this is fine. Right, now we've got to work out what region we need to shade which satisfies those inequalities. So one way of doing it is just to pick a point. So you pick a point that lies on one side of your function. So I'm going to look at the straight line first, and you can see that the origin 0, 0, which is always a great one to pick, lies very clearly on the sort of left-hand side, or underneath, sorry, the line. So we know it lies on that side. So let's look at the inequality. I will move that up slightly, do this down here. So it is 2y plus x, let's do it in red. And I'm going to substitute in the origin. So x equals 0, y equals 0. And let's see if it's true. Let's see if the inequality holds true on that side. So 2 times 0 is 0, and plus 0 is 0. And we look at that. 0 is less than 14. So we are on the correct side. That is correct. So, you know, that holds true. So in other words, if we shaded it in, I'll do this incredibly lightly, it holds true on this side of the line. So we know we're on the right side of the line now. If I picked a point on the top of the line, it would have given us a falsehood. It wouldn't have been right. So you know then that you need to go the other side. Hopefully this triggers some memories from your GCSEs. Now, I'm going to change to the colour green. Let's go down here, so and do the second one. So, that wasn't a good choice. We've got x squared minus 3x minus 4, and I'm going to pick the origin again. It's such an easy one to substitute in. So let's replace y with 0, and let's replace x with 0. So 0 squared minus 3 times 0 is all 0. So we end up with, oh golly, you can't see that very well. So let's go over that in blue. So if I substitute into the inequality, there you go, hopefully you can see it a little bit better now. If you substitute in x equals 0 and y equals 0 into that inequality, you should be able to see that, again, it's true. So 0 is greater than minus 4. So again, lucky me, I picked on the correct side of the quadratic this time. So that means that the correct side of the quadratic, if I shade it in, is going to be here. So this part. So I picked the right side. And where does it overlap? Where are my lines going down and sort of also across? Right, it's here. There's one little region. So this would be your shaded region where those two overlap. And that is the region that satisfies those inequalities. Right, so that's the old-fashioned way. Let's do it the other way now with the GDC. So, if I move that down there a little bit and move the GDC, so it's in sort of prime location. Let's see, focus that a little bit better, not really. Okay, well we start I guess by switching it on. Ooh, you can see I did it before, yikes, maybe you can't see my battles from earlier. Yes, I will delete that. Okay, I do believe I will delete this as well, so this is useful, you know, how you delete something I guess. So do I want to delete it? Yes I do, press F1. Okay, so I'm going to pop in our two inequalities again. The first one though, I am going to rearrange. So if we look at 2y plus x is less than 14, I'm going to make y the subject so I can input it. So subtract x from both sides and divide by 2. Divide both of those by 2, so I've got minus half an x and 14 divided by 2 is 7. So if I want to input an inequality, what I need to do is press type. So I should say actually, you go to menu and then you go to graph number 5, that will take us to the correct area. Anyway, let's start that again. So you then press on type, which you can see is the button below type. After you've done that, to scroll through here, you go to the top right button and below are all your inequalities. We want less than, I believe, which is the one underneath zoom, so you just select that, there you go, isn't that lovely? And we're set up and ready to go. You just need to press it once. And now you type in your inequality. So it was minus, you use this cheeky little minus here at the bottom, minus a half, I'm going to use 0.5. Have I put in two minuses there? Let's delete that, I only want the one. So minus 0.5. The x you use here, so can you see where it goes x theta? So use that one. and then plus 7, and then hopefully it will sketch it for us. Look at this. Okay, it'll do so later. Okay, right. Mind you, I do kind of want to see what it looks like, so let's have a look. So if you go to the end there and click draw, look at that, isn't that beautiful? So it represents, and you can see it's under the curve, under the line, just as it was before. If you want to go back to the graph, you click G to T, which is that button there, and you go back. Now let's do the second one, so let's see if we can remember how to do this. Again, you click type. This time we are looking at the inequality y is greater than or equal to x squared minus 3x minus 4, so I'm just going to type that in. So type, we scroll by going to the end there, and we want greater than or equal to, so it's this one. You see it sort of stores it at the top, and then again you've got to use x squared, use the same x as before. It was minus 3x and then minus 4, and then it should draw it for us. So I'm going to press execute again, and then if we want to draw it, can you see where it says draw there? It should draw it for us here, and look at that, perfect, absolutely beautiful. So you can see the overlapping area there. I have to say, my graph looks exactly like that, the one I sketched. Perfect. Right. Some other things you might be of interest. You can analyze this a little bit. So if you wanted to look at the intersection points, you can go to G-solve, and then you see you've got intersect or intersect. So it will give you the intersect points. There's one, can you see that? Minus 2.29. And then if you want the second one, you can just skip to it by using the little, what they call cursor keys. And you can jump to the next one. It gives you the x value and the y value. That's not all. You know, you could work out the y-intercept as well. Let's work out the maximum. So you go to the maximum. Now you have to choose the graph. It's sort of highlighting the line there, but we want the maximum for the quadratic. So I've just used my cursor key again, and I've moved on to that one. And then I'm going to click. Ooh, hello. Didn't like that, did it? So let's press exit and get out of that. And try that again. So let's go to draw, there we go. Let's go to G-solve, and let's go to ooh, I know why, because it's not a maximum. So click minimum. Right, so we go to a minimum, and then you jump to the curve, and then hopefully this time it will work. And there we go. So it's found the minimum point. So it gives you the x value and also the y value. And you can do similar things there. You know, if you go back to G-solve, you've got the y-intercept. You can move between which curve you want to select or which line you want to select. So all jolly useful, I think. If you want to zoom in and out, let's go out of this. I hope this will work while I'm in this mode. You just need to press plus or minus. But I'm guessing because I'm in G-solve, it's not wanting me to, it's not doing that. Okay, so let's go out again. So exit, go back in, and there we go. So if I press plus or minus, then I can zoom in and out. Let's zoom in a little bit more there. Okay? Just need to make sure you're in the right sort of area. Well, that's the end of a very long video.